How y'all doing today? So I want to talk about 7 things that I would do if I had to start all over to assure that I'm back in the million. So for those of you who are in business, who've made a lot of mistakes, and who are, maybe you're in the place where you need to start over again and you want to do it right the first, again, right? You want to do it right this time, the next time. So here are 7 things that I would do if I had to start all over, all the way from scratch, or just start a new business. And I wanted to assure that that business makes me tens of millions of dollars. Here's what I would do. Are y'all ready to learn some of these secret strategies of things that I have learned over the years? I mean, there's so much, that comes with entrepreneurship. When you succeed, you have learned and mastered the art of growing a brand, building a brand, crafting the right offers, marketing, all those different, there's so many different skill sets that you learn along the way. And you can't forget the lessons learned, right? You cannot forget the lessons learned. So there are like 7 key things. It's like, if I can just look at all the things that I've learned over the years, the past 2 decades in business, there are 7 key things that, if I wanted to start over again, this is what I would do. So if you want to know what those are, let me know in the chat if you want to know what those things are, because I'm going to dive into it. So the first thing that I would do, number one, is, there's different types of businesses that you can start. You can start a sole proprietorship, you can start a nonprofit, you can start an LLC. And then most people think that an S Corp and a C Corp is different from an LLC, but all it is an LLC with a tax election to be taxed as an S Corp or a C Corp, right? And so there's different reasons why you want to understand the different structures of business. Of course, with an LLC, which is a separate entity from your personal, you have all the protections. It protects your assets. It prevents you from being able to, have hold liabilities and stuff like that. So that's the reason why you want to have an entity versus a sole proprietorship. So having a sole proprietorship is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that as you begin to level up, once you hit like that mid-tier, multiple 6 figures, you definitely want to have an entity, because it's going to save you on taxes, but it's also going to help you be on your way to create wealth and access capital in different ways. So it's just leveling up. Okay. So number one, the first thing of 7 things that I would do if I was starting all over and I wanted to assure that this new business entity is going to guarantee making me 7 figures or beyond. Okay. That first thing that I would do is form an LLC. Okay. So for some of you who may be new, maybe you don't even know where to start to go form an LLC. Well, there are service-based businesses, like literally, I think BizFile is one. There's a whole bunch of others. Like you can literally Google. There's some entities that will actually file it for you for a small fee. It's a nominal fee, but they're going to do the work. They're going to do the filings. They're going to do the annual compliance. Some of them will also become your registered agent. So you can just pay somebody, right? So why not, take that shortcut and, allow somebody, to do it on your behalf. So, and that's if you're in that position. So, but if not, if you want to do it yourself, all you have to do is go to the Secretary of State, look for the articles of organization, complete that form. And it's really simple information, like what is your EIN, what is your industry, your primary industry code, what's the name of your business. You want to make sure that the name of your business is not already taken and or trademarked by somebody, and so on and so forth. What is your business address, all that stuff. So that would be the first thing is that. Now, when it comes to like business addresses, I would say this. In business, there's different ways to really grow and thrive. There's different levels. You will need certain things at certain points. So I would not put a virtual address on my official business documents if you are planning to do business with the federal government. So I would just say that. Only because with the federal government, you definitely have to have a physical address. So whether that's your home address, your family member home address, or an actual physical brick and mortar, you cannot use a PO box, a registered agent address, or some type of virtual address, right? Sometimes you may be able to like slip through the cracks, but eventually that slipping through the crack is going to catch up with you, and then you're going to have to start all over. So you don't want to do that. So just do the right thing up front. And the reason why some people do use virtual addresses is for the purpose because they want to get into business credit. And if they use their home address, it's going to be showing as a high risk, and it's going to basically have an effect on how much capital they can get when they begin to tap into capital. And so sometimes the two worlds don't match. So you just got to know how to navigate in between, So I would definitely start an LLC. That would be step one. So the second part to that, and I'm going to tell you the reason why, I will also take my name, like my name is Dr. Kawana D. Irving. I would probably just put it under Kawana Irving. I would take my name and file a separate LLC in my name. And I'm going to give you the reason why. Only because like this is a wealth strategy, right? Yeah, y'all know I share tips. I'm totally transparent. I love sharing information and nuggets with people because until you know this or hear this, you probably would not ever think this. So I will start an LLC in my name. And the reason being is you're going to take your first LLC, create a product or service or whatever it is to offer that you have to offer. You want to make sure that you've crafted an opportunity where somebody is willing to buy it, whether it's a person, whether it's government, whether it's corporations, whether it's celebrities, that you're actually selling those products, right? And you're generating some revenue. And then once you get to a certain point, especially if you're an S corp, when you get to like, I would say multi six figures. When you're making multi six figures, you want to switch from just a regular LLC into a S corp, specifically for tax break purposes. But when you elect to become an S corp, you are legally obligated to pay yourself a reasonable salary. Okay, so that is basically written in law. Yeah, so you at that point you got to pay yourself a salary. So this is the reason why I would create an LLC in my name, because guess what? When you pay yourself a salary, you can pay it to your name and put it into that LLC business bank account. So now your name is a business. And so you're running your payroll to you, but your business is set up as your name is set up as an entity. So now you have two businesses that is highly paid. Okay. And so, and there's a perk to that. There's a whole bunch of perks to that. Because so now it looks like not only do you have one highly successful business, but you have two, even though it's just your payroll. Right. And so with that, you can access and leverage more capital because it shows revenues from one business is maybe seven figures, multiple, and maybe you're paying yourself multiple six figures. And so that entity from the second business is getting paid multiple six figures or whatever. And so now you have access to capital. So that is the reason why I would run two LLCs simultaneously. But of course, don't do it if you're not ready to start selling a service or a product, because it's a process and you got to make sure that the entity is making enough money for you to be able to pay yourself to run these plays. Everybody can't run these plays just getting started. And so there's phases to this thing. But I would say that in business, the reason why there are some wealthy and there are so many other people who are not wealthy at all in business and they're just basically just getting by is because there's a whole different type of mindset of a seven-figure earner than those who are making five figures. Like the mindset is different. They make different decisions. They overcome obstacles very differently, or they see problems very differently than a person who's making five figures. Five-figure people, when their mindset, they see problems as a problem. Like this is it. This is the problem. This is the reason why I can't do it or whatever. But people who with seven-figure mindsets, they see the problem as an opportunity to solve the problem to actually get over that hurdle. So it's completely different conversations. But anyways, well, what I was going to say was in accessing capital, that is a part of creating wealth, like OPM. I don't know if you've ever heard of OPM, which stands for other people's money, but other people's money is going to play a major role, whether it's loans, business loans, whether it's lines of credit, whether it's business credit cards, whether it's personal credit cards. Like using other people's money is going to be a very key component. So having good credit, at least a 680, 700 credit score. If y'all need some resources for like credit, like I know somebody, like I got a guy. So like, just let me know in the chat what y'all need. I'm telling you, because you never look at that situation as a opportunity to overcome it. You will always remain where you are. And if money is a problem where you are right now, it will always be a problem until you do something about it. Okay. And so, so I got a guy. So other people's money is very key. So people like Robert Kiyosaki, if you've never heard of him, he's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. By the way, read that book because it will open up your mind to a whole nother level of just like thinking, right? And so he's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but he has a multi-billion-dollar real estate portfolio. And how he got there was leveraging multiple millions of dollars of other people's money. Okay. So all the wealthiest people that I've studied, that I've met, that have been mentored by, they definitely leverage other people's money. So if you're not in the game, if you don't care about your credit, you can't even get in the game until you do that first. Okay. So other people's money is definitely going to be key. So the other thing is, okay, so I said form an LLC, get an LLC in your name. The third thing that I would do is get certified for all the socioeconomic disadvantage types of small business certifications that you can qualify for. Like literally, under the Small Business Act of America, the government alone is obligated to spend, 23% or more on business products and services that you sell, right? So it's like, that's a guaranteed customer who's guaranteed to write a check, who's guaranteed to have to spend the money, and if they get fired, they lose their budgets if they're not. So it's like, that is a win-win-win-win-win, right? Relationship. So having those small business certifications not only allows you to do business with the biggest payer that you could ever acquire as your client, but it also allows you to be able to do business with the second biggest player, which are corporations. Okay. So corporations, similarly to the government, they have obligations to spend with diverse businesses, with women-owned businesses, with minority businesses, whether you're Black, brown, Asian, Hispanic, does not matter, right? Similar. So there are certifications that you can get across local, state, and federal agencies. And I'm going to tell you about some of them. I'm going to drop the name to about a few of them, at least 5, right? That are essential. Okay. Because you don't want to go down the world of, I'm just always filling out applications to get certified. This is just a step in the process, but having them will allow you to open up the doors to creating wealth for yourself. So the first one is, if you're a woman in business, you want to get the Woman Business Enterprise certification. That's with your state. Sometimes the city also have a Woman Business Enterprise city certification. So if you're a woman in business, you're leaving tens of millions of dollars on the table that you can access if you don't have that. So it's all about just paperwork, right? Just put your paperwork together, get it together. Don't look at what I don't have, look at what they asking me for and how can I get it, right? So you want to turn those I don't into I will, right? Turn those can't into I will and I can, right? Because you can do this. And so if you're a minority, whether Black, brown, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Native American, non-Caucasian, or even a Caucasian white female, you are considered a minority. And with that, there are MBEs certifications, the Minority Business Enterprise certification that is held on the with the state level. So check with your state for their, hey, Alicia, check with your state for the Minority Business Enterprise certification. Sometimes the city also have, your city and county may have a minority certification program as a local business that can support you that way as well. But these certifications, of course, it will just open up so many opportunities for you to participate in set aside opportunities, business transactions that are set aside for those social groups that have the actual certificate, to participate in that money. So we have women owned, minority owned, then we have the veteran. So if you have served this country, right? You have been in the military, the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force, or whatever, and you have a business, there is a veteran certification. It's done by the federal government. So they have the veteran-owned small business, VOSB, and they have the service disabled. So if you're service disabled, veteran-owned small business, that's a whole different certification. So they also have set aside pools of money that you can participate in if you are a previous veteran that has a business. So don't leave those tens of millions of dollars of opportunities that set aside, for you on the table while you out here hustling, to get a customer. Like, you don't have to do that. It's somebody already out there waiting with a check with your name on it. So for those business owners who are out there, like, networking is going to be key. So if you could partner with veterans, if you could partner with women, if you're not a woman, if you could partner with minorities, if you're non-minorities, it's just about coming together strategically to create these joint ventures and partnerships to access this money that is on the table for us. So another certification is just a small business in general, regardless of your race, your creed, or your sex, or whatever. If you're a small business in general and you make less than $20 million a year, like on an average over a 5-year period, you are a small business. Mind you, statistically, the average entrepreneur, about 86% of the entrepreneurs in the nation, makes less than $100,000 a year. So the most of the entrepreneurs are just basically next to poor. So it's like, at that point, if you're not doing these things that I've been sharing with you and you still making less than 6 figures, that means you want to be there. Like, literally, hey, Rave, that means you want to be there, like literally. So so you can actually become a part of the top 2% of earners in revenue just by doing the things that I'm sharing with you. Okay. Thank you, Raven. Good to see you. I haven't seen you good to see you here. I haven't seen you in a minute. But I'm telling y'all a lot, like, do these things, okay? And so we talked about the small business in general, regardless of your race, your creed, your sex, or whatever. If you make less than $20 million a year for 5 years straight, and you have less than 500 employees, you qualify for a small business certification. So you can get that with your state. You can also check with your city and county to get that certification. Now, the other is just general. When you're ready to grow your business into a nationally recognized business, yes, you could be nationally recognized without having a business in all 51 states, and that's just by becoming federally SAM certified. So you would go to sam.gov to have that. So that's about 4 to 5, I think, and there's one more. So that's 4, and I think there's one more, which is the DOT, the DBE, the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. This is provided by your Department of Transportation. So I know in the Bay Area we have BART, the Bay Area Rapid Transit System. We have the SFMTA, San Francisco Metropolitan Transportation Agency. We have the MTA in Oakland, the East Bay. We have AC Transit, like all those transit, Caltrans. We have Amtrak. So the airport, like all those transportation agencies. There's one Department of Transportation that runs all of those transportation agencies, and you can actually become a certified DBE. If it is true that you're a small business, then you are also a small disadvantaged business enterprise. Okay. You say you're tired of being in your situation, right? You got like, sometimes it takes being tired, like, and fed up, you know what I mean? Just being sick and tired of being sick and tired before you're willing to take action, regardless of what that action may look like. And so so many are called, but only few are chosen. And the realistic thing is, like, only 12% of businesses that are here, and I know many of you have businesses, right? Only 12% of businesses in the nation are actually doing it. Like, they're actually doing business with the government. Only 12%. That means there's room for growth and expansion. There's room for you. There's opportunities for you to participate that is, in these particular things, and do something that the average business owner is not doing, because you will have something that the average business owner cannot have, and that's prosperity, and that's wealth, right? And that's success. Okay. All right. So so those are the certifications. So that's step 3. Number 4 is, I would also register with these 2 agencies. Number 1 is the National Minority Supplier Diversity Council. Okay. You say lots of room. The National Minority Supplier Diversity Council. Let me, I want to take this banner off here and put some of y'all comments, because it's cool. Okay. So he said, let me see. Hey, Malik. He said, there's a lot of room. So Ray, this is my guy. He said, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for you. Okay. So you definitely want to get in where you fit in. Okay. So the National Minority Supplier Diversity Council. So NMSDC. Okay. So I would register with them, because they will help you get the national certification, which is more on the corporate side, but it's also recognized on the government side. But what it does, they do relationship, basically networking you with corporations who have obligations to spend with minority businesses. Okay, so National Minority Supplier Diversity Council, I would definitely connect with them. Not only do they do mentor protege programs, they do trade events where you can actually meet the buyers. They show you opportunities, banking. They help you get into the banking, like all different types. They show you how to get funding. Like, it is just a great organization to be a part of. And so NMSDC, but I will also connect with, if you're a woman in business, WBENT, WBENT, the Women Business Enterprise National Council. So I would definitely become a member of that, because, again, similar to the NMSBC, the WBENT allows you to build relationships with corporations for women-owned businesses. So corporations that have obligations to spend, and they have interests to do business with women-owned businesses. So those are the things that I would do. So that's 4. I think that's three. Actually, that's three on my list. So there's 7 on my list, 7 things on my list. So the other thing that I would do is leverage money. I would definitely leverage other people's money. So in my years of just like starting growing, expanding, and helping people start, growing, expand, and scale, and all this stuff. Like, one of the biggest hurdles that small business owners have is not having money. Like, it's hard. Like, and trust me, I know I've been there. I didn't have no money when I started my business, right? But and when my business started growing and I stayed stuck at a certain point, I still didn't have no money. I didn't have no money, no credit, no leverage, no nothing. I didn't have anything. I didn't even have no knowledge of what I was doing. But it wasn't until I actually tapped into a mentor. Now, this little young lady, she's super dope. Her name is Kristen Inez. Shout out to her, because she opened up my eyes to the importance of leveraging other people's money and the importance of fixing your credit, and actually gave us tools on how to fix our own credit and all that stuff. And so this young lady just literally don't even know how significantly she has changed my life. And I've just kind of been on fire ever since. Like, I just kept elevating. But leveraging other people's money, having access to capital, is going to be very key, because guess what? When you build your business the right way and you do the things that I'm talking about, and maybe you have a business plan and you can show some financial projections, whether it's happened or not, you can show some future financial projections. You can go into the bank when you have your fundamental business documentations intact. You can go into the bank and access 100, 150,000, even up to $200,000, even as a brand new business with no revenues generated just yet. Other people's money, like who don't want that, right? And so these are things that I learned after the fact. I bootstrapped my way to the top, and then I started accessing capital and leveraging other people's money. But initially, I had to bootstrap my way to the top, and I just continued to reinvest. But now knowing these things, I would do something very different. I would go access capital, because when you do that, there are certain banks, right? There are certain banks that you can go to, and they will give you like $150,000 to $200,000, even with a brand new entity. And you're talking about 5 different banks giving you $200,000. That's $1 million in access to capital. There is no more excuses of your limitations. So you have to think about, well, what are my limitations? And if your limitations is I don't have money to invest in myself, to invest in education, to invest in a class, a mentor, whatever, now you got to problem solve and overcome that to position yourself to be able to get the green light to access other people's money, because it will change your life. People like Robert Kiyosaki, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, even Elon Musk, these people don't act from their own limited positions, right? They actually became successful by leveraging systems and banking systems and other people's money and stacking credit and all those different things to make it happen for themselves. And so if the clues are there and the blueprint is proven and it's successful, why are we trying to, still look at our own limited positions like, oh, I don't have enough money to do. Money is everywhere. Money is not scarce. Like, you just got to know how to be resourceful. So that's the key, like getting resourceful, learning what do I need to do? Like who do I need to become to learn how to access this money? What book do I need to read? What lesson do I need to learn? Like, what podcast do I need to listen to so I can learn some insightful things that's going to help me get out of my own way? And so leveraging other people's money is going to be key in your journey, especially if I believe, hey, Malik, elevating. I believe that most people started a business because they want to create wealth. Am I right? What was the reason why you started your business? Like, you want to make more money than you're making on a job. You want to create some wealth so you can pass down for generations. You want to create like a legacy so that you will never be forgotten, right? You want to have enough money so where money is no longer an issue. You want to be able to pay your bills and still have money, travel from anywhere in the world, right? Free your time and have financial freedom to do whatever it is that you want. All those different things, right? There's a lot of reasons why people started their business, but if whatever the reason is, you now got to create an action plan to make that reason, that purpose, that vision a reality, right? Some people were born to dream. There are others, and a few of y'all that I believe, because like I'm a spiritual person, and I know when there are winners in the room that just are not awake yet. A few of y'all was born to live your dreams, right? If that's you, let me know in the chat. That's me. Hey, you talking my language. That is me. Like, you know, in your gut, like if you were the person that was born to live your dream and you just don't see the road, you just don't see the roadmap, you don't know how it's going to happen, but it can happen for you. All you just got to do is make the plan and the plan of action and do the work, right? Anything that you're actively, consistently working towards on purpose and with intention will become a reality. Hey, Keisha, that's my cousin there. So yeah, leveraging other people's money. So the fifth thing that I would do is I would invest money to take shortcuts. So I remember Raven said, that's me. Like literally, look, I'm going to drop some of these comments up here. Hey, Ken, good to see you. We got to catch up. It's been a minute, like a long time. There's a lot that your girl have been doing, accomplishing since we last seen each other. So we definitely got to catch up. So anyways, I would definitely, take shortcuts, right? Investing in education. That is the biggest, I would say, secret hack to succeeding and excelling so fast. Like, because I know some of y'all know me. Yeah, you like 10, 12, 15, whatever, however many years ago, I was like hustling, running, like just getting in rooms and like just getting started. But when the momentum happens, then now there's like it just picks up, right? And so I think one of the biggest lessons for me that I've ever accomplished was learning how to invest in me. So I remember when I first started my business, and this is a big one, especially in the Black and brown community, like people don't want to invest in themselves. Like they don't believe enough in themselves. And first, maybe you know something I don't know about you, right? Like if you don't want to invest in yourself, maybe because you know you're not an action taker, or you drag your feet, or you're a procrastinator, or maybe you start and stop and you never really finish things, or you're not a person of your word. But when you know that you have excellent work ethic and you're going to finish what you started, then you should never be afraid to invest in yourself. I used to be really afraid to invest in myself because I was like, what if it don't work, right? Because the mindset, like I used to be like, what if it don't work? Then I'm losing money. Look, once I took the leap and started investing in myself, even when I didn't have the money, I started leveraging other people's money to get the money to go invest in myself. I've never looked back. Life has changed like completely. I think the first investment that I made was a $2,000 class, and the class was going to teach me how to make $10,000 a month. And I was like, at that point, I was like, I got to stop being afraid and go ahead and figure out how to get the money to go invest in this class. And that class taught me how to make $10,000 or $20,000. Then it made $100,000 a month. Like literally, when you invest and you know you're going to do the work, the return on your investment is going to be priceless, right? It's going to be multiple into perpetuity, because the things that you learn when you take action, you can never unlearn it. And so it started there, but then it went to like 20,000 investments, 50,000 investments, $200,000 investments, $1 million investments. I have invested and it has paid off. And it's never been an investment that I've made that I was like, oh my God, I took a loss. But because the only person that can guarantee your success is you. As long as you know you're a doer, you're going to get the result. Okay. And there are some things that are like investments that you can make that are not monetized as a return on your investment. But it's like, if you invest in marriage counseling, it's going to prevent you from those costly divorces, because divorces cost, right? Now you got to pay for therapy. Now you got to pay for therapy for your kids. Now you got to pay child support. Now you got to do all. So it's costly, right? So if you could pay a counselor $5,000 to keep your marriage intact, it's going to prevent you from having to pay $50,000 down the line. Okay. So you got to think about those types of things. And so, but I used to think that I can do it all by myself. Look, I'm not paying for no email marketing, CRMs, because I'm going to send my emails by myself or do mail merges. I'm not paying for nobody to do a brand, because I can go online and create a logo by myself. Like literally, that is what kept me broke for the first, 5 to 7 years in business. Just having that mentality of not wanting to, spend money to make money. It takes money to make money. The more you spend, the more you invest, rather, I would say, the more you can actually grow. And so you just got to think of it as like, I don't do casinos or whatever, but I remember when I was like 20 something, and I put like $1 in the casino, where I think the max you can put in there is $100. But that dollar, I actually won like $100 from that dollar. Just imagine if I would have put $100, that would have been 100 times 100. So the bigger the investment, the greater the outcome. I would have won so much more bigger. And that's just with the casino, like that's just with that scenario. So the bigger you play, the greater the result. That's it, right? And so definitely I would take shortcuts instead of being willing to fail and take all this time to figure out what did I learn, what did I do wrong, and now it's 5 to 10 years later. Most people give up by then, right? You can invest in yourself, learn how to do something that someone who have 20 years of experience or more, how to avoid the shortcuts and get results within 6 to 12 months, right? And so you pay for time, right? You pay for time and expertise and results faster. Okay. So I would do that totally different. And then number 6 is I would definitely have an affiliate program. So these are the things that if you are starting a business, regardless of where you are in your journey of starting that business, these are things that I highly recommend. And I'm going to recap some of these things as well, just so you guys have this information for certain. So I would definitely have an affiliate program. This is where you're actually incentivizing people to refer you. Incentivizing other people to refer you. So people get paid just to help other people. So for me, I have these 5-day immersion experiences. It's like $97 to $297 or $397 or whatever for a ticket. But just imagine if you're getting 50% of the ticket sales because just you're referring people to learn how to get their business qualified for lucrative government contracts. They walk through an implementation to get qualified. And you're referring 10 to 20 people. You're basically generating $3,000 to $5,000 a month just on referral basis, right? So I would basically have a referral affiliate program because your audience is only limited to you, but there are some people who have the right people in their audience that they can share the information and help you to grow your business. So affiliate programming, affiliate marketing is definitely a key. So, and then number 7 is I would create a message that helped me to get on stages, because once you're on stage, like if you could speak, I would invest in a coach that's going to teach me how to craft a perfect message so I can get on stage and change lives. Because if you have a transformational message to people, they will be willing to follow you to the moon, right? They will be willing to buy your class, your course, your mentorship, your coaching, or whatever, your product, your service, or whatever. So speaking on stage is it's like getting in front of one of many. If you get on stage and there's 300 people in the room, you're bound to close at least 20 of them, right? So if you have like a $20,000 program or even a $2,000 program, 2,000 times 20, right? You just made that just by speaking on the stage and just sharing your knowledge, your gift, your expertise, and your experience, right? And so that's definitely something I would do. Have a one-to-many, craft a message, that people need to hear, and that can come from your background, your experience, something that you've overcome, something very powerful where you can walk people through a step-by-step blueprint of how to overcome or avoid a situation or a circumstance. So that is it, y'all. So those are the 7 things that I would do for sure if I had to start all over to assure that I'm building a multi-7-figure business. If I wanted to start a brand new business today, this is exactly what I would do. Number 1 was forming an LLC. Number 2 was forming an LLC in my name so I can play the wealth game. Number 3 was registering for the small business certification so that I'm in position to tap into the multi-trillion-dollar industry of government contracts. And I would definitely register with the NMSDC, the National Minority Supplier Diversity Council, as well as the WBENC, the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. I will tap into those so I can get myself introduced to corporations who have the obligations to spend with business owners like me, right? I would leverage money and access money instead of spending money. I would leverage and invest money, access capital, and invest money instead of spending money. So instead of spending money on liabilities like cars and clothes and bags and shoes and stuff like that, I would invest money because, of course, when you seed the money and you nurture your seed, it will bring you harvest. And so that whole thing, right? And so there's a lot of people out there that, spend money versus invest money. And these are the things that rich people teach their kids versus poor people teach their kids, and the things that we see that we're programmed to do, to consume rather than to invest. So I would definitely leverage money and access to capital instead of having limitations because of the limited money that I have for myself. So number 5 is I would invest money to take shortcuts. So I would invest in a coach, a mentor, a trainer, or somebody, a blueprint, or something that's going to help me get there faster, get results faster without having to spend years making mistakes and trying to figure it out. And number 6 is I would definitely have an affiliate program so I can share the wealth with people who are helping me and we're building together. Okay. And then 7, I will create a message that gets me on stage so I can close the room. Okay. And continue to basically thrive in that particular way. So hopefully this is helpful for you all. And I just took like 7. There's so many life lessons that I can share, and I probably will be sharing those life lessons in business. And I know that, many of you probably never heard to do that, or maybe you heard and didn't know how to do it, or didn't realize how significant it could be when you just make that one small tweak, right, in your business. So I got to put my glasses on to see some of these comments. Okay. All right. So Raven said, thank you for sharing. I was meant to stop and listen. I'm starting over at the end of this broadcast. Okay, cool. So so start over. This will be here posted on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. You can run it again, play it, share it to somebody who you think, don't hoard information and not share it. Be willing to share the information. You got to be a giver. Look, in order to receive, giving is the way to receiving. So you got to be willing to be a blessing to other people, because there's probably somebody that who need to hear this message, and this message could perhaps change their lives, and maybe they'll come back and help you change your life or whatever, or maybe your life will change and you can share the information forward to change somebody else's life. So it's all about paying it forward. But anyway, that is it, y'all. Thank you so much for joining. Until next time, y'all. If you want to know more about these things that I shared and how we can help you implement some of these things, just comment, help in the chat. Just comment help in the chat, and my team will reach out to y'all with a link so you can book a call with my team. We can walk you through how we can help you implement and install these things. And we'll meet you where you are. Okay. So you're welcome, Malik and Rave and Keisha and all those others who are watching. I hope this has been a blessing to you. Until next time, y'all, go be fruitful and multiply. That is the first commandment that God gave man when he created us in his image. Be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. And don't forget to go out and grow prosperity. So we'll see you next time.